Alright, I'm curious. This small VTuber person, can you even call them a VTuber? You don't even have a VTuber model. But they decided to make a video called Metroid Prime 4 Sucks, and it's another woke disaster. Listen, there is nothing even remotely DEI or woke about Metroid Prime 4 that I've seen. Listen, I think it's a pretty good game, all things considered. I think it's solid. I think the story is generally good. Is it the best Metroid Prime game we've ever gotten? No. I would say, and this is, a lot of people are going to look at me weird for this, I actually think Prime 3 was the best. I really enjoyed the vibes of Prime 3. I really like that you get to go to the different planets. Even the storytelling aspect about Prime 3 was good, and I thought it was a very solid conclusion to the trilogy. Prime 1 and 2 are still very good. I don't know what my second favorite would be. It's a very tough pick, because I really enjoy the first one, and I also enjoy the fourth one a lot, too. Even Prime 2 Echoes is also good. They're all good, right? But, like, Prime 3, I have a lot of really great memories with. Maybe I have a bit of a nostalgia bias to it, so that's probably part of it, too. But, yeah, apparently Metroid Prime 4 is too woke for this guy, so I'm curious to hear his take on it. People are already saying Metroid Prime 4 is ass.
Hello everybody, this is Kai Marin, and just recently Metroid Prime 4 has finally dropped. Alright, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
It dropped harder than my ass last night. Crazy.
It's been 18 years since the last Metroid Prime game. Surely, alright, this must be a call for a great celebration.
I mean, it is. I think, honestly, for what it's worth, I think the wait was worth it because Metroid Prime 4 innovates in a lot of really good ways that the other Prime games haven't been able to do because of the limitations that their engine was on. Now that we're in the year 2025, they're able to do so many cool things. Like, fucking Samus rides a bike like it's Tron. Like, that's cool. That's, like, so out of this world for a Prime game, and it works really well if you actually, like, look at all the level design of Prime 4. Again, I still wouldn't say that Prime 4 is my favorite in the franchise, but it's still pretty good. Like, it's also extremely, like, gorgeous looking as well. Like, Vuros is a very pleasant planet to look at and everything, so I don't know, like, your best argument is that, like, Prime 4 is not good because of, like, I don't know, maybe some of the things that they changed. My biggest criticisms of Prime 4 would be, like, I actually don't like that they changed the way that the boss, when you're in a boss fight, like, the health bar UI, like, that always irked me. Because, like, in the first 3 Prime games, it's generally been the same, and it's been fine the way it was. So I don't know why they didn't just lean into that instead. Like, it just felt a little bit, like, unnecessary to change that. But I guess they're going for uniqueness, so it might seem like a nitpick on my part, but there are some, like, UI changes that I'm not, like, a huge fan of. But overall, like, it's a pretty solid experience. Like, I cannot complain. Like, there could have been so many worse iterations of Metroid Prime 4. I think this was a pretty good iteration.
Okay, this game was in development hell for years, alright? We're finally getting it, but it turns out it really, what they should have done is they should have called this Metroid Prime Forever.
Why? I don't get it. Are you saying that it exists forever? I guess. Got him.
Because apparently, it sucks ass, alright? And honestly, it's not even just me saying that, okay?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of weird rage baiters on Twitter. You also have a lot of Twitter tabs open, by the way, so that's gonna clue me into the mindset that you're in. Like, you seem to be falling for all the rage bait of people being like, oh, the desert section sucks. It's really actually not that bad, by the way. When you actually play the game, the desert section is meant to be traveled in your bike, or your Viola, that's what they call it, the Tron bike-like thing. So it's actually, like, really not as bad as you're making it out to be. Like, it's just a bunch of rage baiters on Twitter.
Tons of people are pretty disappointed with this new Metroid, and it's really only just, like, the hardcore Nintendo fanboy bootlickers who are saying that it's some, grand achievement. And look,
I mean, when you really think about it, it is a grand achievement. Like, graphically, it's good. They've innovated a lot from the previous Prime experiences. They took a lot. I actually noticed a lot of Metroid Prime 3 inspiration, believe it or not. With, like, the narrative as well as, like, some of the puzzles are very inspired by Prime 3 in that game. But they innovated it and made it even better than it was in Prime 3. Because there's a little bit of jank in Prime 3. Especially, you have to remember that the game was originally intended for the Wii. Nowadays I kind of just like use an emulator because who the fuck is going to buy a Wii in 2025 to play Metroid Prime? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe hopefully we'll get Prime 2 and Prime 3 remastered someday, but only time will tell.
Like, let's just look at the reviewers. And by the way, I don't trust any of these reviewers. I think they're all shills. But as you can see here...
So why are you citing them if you don't trust them? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Metascore 80. You know, that's respectable, isn't it? I mean, not really. That's only a point above the classic IGN 7 out of 10. And then you look at the other Metroid games. Metroid Prime for the GameCube, 97. Metroid Prime...
You literally just said you don't trust the scores of these websites. Why are you citing them?
2, 92. Metroid Prime 3, 90.
Bro, we're already starting off this video very, like... with a very, like, weak argument, if anything. Like, this... Okay. You're citing something that you don't agree with yourself.
All right.
So, like, how do you expect people to take your argument seriously?
Right. Metroid Prime Hunters, the freaking DS game, has a higher score of 85. And Metroid Prime Pinball has a 79, only 1 point below Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, so, okay, even if you do take these reviews seriously... You have to remember that the standard for games has gone up. The, like, reviews can shift because these games came out, like, back when the standard was completely different. And, like, back then, the Metroid Prime games were really revolutionary, and there wasn't anything like it at the time, but now the standard has become so high for gaming. There's so many different games that are coming out, and also the management with a lot of these reviewers is different. You also have to not trust video game journalists, because, like, they get paid to just play many, many different games, and they get paid to, like, include some rage bait in some of their shit. Like, it's, like, you gotta not trust video game journalists, and you don't seem to trust them either, but yet you're still citing them as your... source for why Metroid Prime 4 is not a good game. So, again, your argument's very weak here.
The stupid pinball spin-off for the DS has pretty much the same score. Alright? And look, honestly, Other M has 79. The only one it's beating is Metroid Prime Federation Force, which...
And Pinball with your own logic.
...is a shitty spin-off that everybody hates. That everybody hated at the time and still does.
I mean, okay, who cares if Metacritic said that the score was lower than some of the other Prime games? I mean, I would probably agree that it's not a revolutionary Prime game, but I still think the game is good. You could still say good things about the game. Like, that's not evidence that the game is shit.
Alright, and we'll get into it, and look, I'll say this, I'm really not a Metroid fan.
Okay. That tells me everything that I need to know. Alright.
Now...
If you're not a Metroid fan, that actually makes a lot of sense. Bro, I've been playing Metroid ever since I fucking left 2nd grade and I saw my uncle play on the GameCube. Like, that's, like, when I became a Metroid fan, and I've been a Metroid fan ever since. So, like, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of the Metroid franchise.
I've only played Metroid 1 and Super Metroid, alright? But still, I do have respect for the franchise, and it is unfortunate to watch it, you know, get such just a dog shit game.
Why would I ever take your opinion seriously if you're not a Metroid fan and you're making this, like, weird, obviously rage bait video that's trying to, like, cash in to the fucking anti-woke audience, or, like, the, like, grift audience or whatever? It's like, you have so many Twitter tabs open. I have a pretty good clue as to the kind of person that you are.
That just sucks complete ass, you know? Look, it's not good for any game to be bad, alright? You know, so it is unfortunate to see. And look, the issues are springing around two main...
Bro, this guy's using Twitter as a source. This fucking, like, VTuber, who you can't even call a VTuber because you don't even have a VTuber model, is just, like, using Twitter as a source as sort of, like, the definitive Metroid Prime experience.
Things, okay? The characters and... the new hub world that they've added. So, I guess we'll go through some of this. So, let's just start with the desert first. I kind of got this all scattered. So, basically, Nintendo, they thought it would be a genius idea, alright, to, you know, innovate upon the Metroid formula. You know, everybody knows Metroid. It's the original Metroid.
Well, clearly you don't, because you say you're not a Metroid fan.
It's all about exploring this big interconnected world, and there's lots of backtracking and upgrades. They're like, oh, how should we fix this? How should we improve the formula? A perfect idea. We'll add in a giant desert that you have to go through in order to get to the different areas. A giant empty desert.
So you're supposed to use Viola, which is the bike power-up that you get in the game, to traverse through the desert. It's actually not as bad as you may think. It's actually genius, if anything. Like, a lot of people harp on this point, but it's really not that bad to just, like, traverse to the different points. And there's also stuff you can do in the desert. There's, like, different power-ups you can collect, and there's different upgrades for the different shot types that you can get in the desert. There's, like, the green crystals you can collect, which, to be honest, I'm still very confused as to what the green crystals do. I would have to educate myself on that. If anyone knows what they do, the ones where you can run them over and collect them as resources, please let me know in the comments, because I'm still very confused as to what they do. So let me know. Yeah, no, like, there's still stuff you can do in this desert. It's not like a barren desert. You're supposed to traverse with your bike, which is really not as bad as people make it out to be. I feel like people just, like, overreact. It's, like, so dumb. It's like, okay, you have a map at your disposal. You're not going to get lost in the desert. It's really, like, people are just, like, so, like, upset at it, but it's just, like, be quiet. Like, shut up.
Like, literally. So, whatever.
Miles, a character who will get to
So we'll go through this.
later, is like you can tackle any of these 3 areas. So you travel across this giant desert and you get to the ice area, except you can't progress because of the ice wall. Okay, I guess I'll have to get a fire weapon of some sort. So you leave, drive across the giant desert again to go to the fire area, except that's blocked off too. You fool, you thought you could play video game in your video game, but it's not all bad. You find a fire chip, and there you go, we can do it now. We can defeat the ice wall, except no, you can't. That would make too much sense. In every other game, Samus could equip her own power-ups, but now we need the engineer character Miles to equip it for us, and he is in a completely different side of the map, so we have to drive all the way across the desert again. And it's even worse than that. In order to get to Miles, we now have to watch a cutscene and wait for a loading screen, then watch another cutscene for him to equip the power-up for us, watch another cutscene to get back to the desert, another loading screen, travel across the desert again, and only now can we actually play the game. Do you
So, in a weird way, I feel like this argument would make sense, but there's just one thing that really kind of, like, makes this entire argument fall apart. There's just one thing. And I'm going to describe it in one sentence. Use your fucking brain. Sorry, buddy. Use your fucking brain. If you don't want, like, if you have to backtrack, or if you have to, like, I don't know, if you accidentally make, like, a wrong turn or whatever, you're like, oh, shit, I fucked up there, and then you have to go back. It really is not that bad. I don't think it's that bad if you make, like, a mistake. Also, you can get different shot types to open the different doors. So, like, once you get it once you make that mistake once, okay, you'll know for next time. To not go to those areas. And you can also, there's also a feature on the map, by the way, where you can add markers, right? You can add markers for missile expansions, you could add markers for energy tanks, or add markers for other things on your map so you know to come back later, because you can't interact with whatever it is you can interact with at the time. So, like, I don't know, dude. It's like, there's, like, no excuse. Like, like, if you're constantly making mistakes as to where to go, like, the game tells you where to go. If you're, like, wandering around a lot, the game will eventually remind you to open your map, and it'll tell you where you need to go specifically. So, like, dude, that makes this entire thing fall apart. Like, you give an example, you actually, like, look into the game, you actually play the game for yourself, and not listen to any of these, like, weird rage baiters online, especially on Twitter. The entire thing just falls apart.
see now how the desert ruins the game? Do you
Watch this fucking weird non-VTuber is gonna, like, over-validate everything that's being said in this, like, thing, because he hasn't even played a single Metroid game in his life. He's just trying to market in the grift economy.
see how it makes simple tasks take agonizingly long? Do you see how they intentionally use it to pad the playtime?
Yeah, so that's from Lord Frogmire's video on Metroid Prime 4, and it's pretty good. I recommend you guys go watch it, but let's find, like, a...
I won't. He sounds like another fucking weird grifter online that just says, like, video game bad because I make a lot of money off saying video game bad.
good clip. So yeah, literally, instead of having, like, a big interconnected world, now they just have a hub world. So then you go through this hub world to get to the different areas, and the hub world is just a big, empty, boring-ass desert.
There's stuff to do in the desert, and you're also supposed to drive on it with your bike, and you can actually get around places fairly quickly, so I think this is just it's just a pearl clutch point.
That you go across in a stupid, and there's barely anything even in it.
You haven't even played the game. What are you talking about? How would you know that there's nothing to do with it if you haven't even played it yourself?
Okay, the only real gameplay is slamming into, like, these crystals. Maybe I got a
Only
clip somewhere.
Another cutscene to get back to the desert, another...
Yeah, it's the green crystals. I still don't know what to do with the green crystals, but occasionally you fight enemies. There's also, like, structures you can interact with to get, like, extra shot-type upgrades and stuff.
I don't know, maybe. But apparently the only actual gameplay you do in it is just slam into these frickin' crystal things to get...
There's a little more to it than that, but okay, I guess.
Points. And apparently you have to collect these crystals to beat the game. And apparently it's...
Is that true? I don't know. I'm still confused as to what the crystals actually do.
Not even just like you need a few. Apparently you might even need to grind for an extended period of time to get enough crystals to beat the game.
Okay, I actually don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I can't really trust his interpretation of information. It might be true, but I don't know for sure if that's actually true if you have to grind to get those crystals, because I'm still very confused as to what they do.
So a huge portion of this Metroid game is driving through a big, open, boring, empty desert. Alright, does that sound like fun, especially for a...
That's not a majority of the game. There's, like, whole other sections. Like, there's, what is it? Flare Pool, is that what it's called? Where you explore, like, a lava section. There's the Ice Belt, you explore that section. There's the Volt Forge, which is another really cool section. And then, of course, there's obviously the, like, starting area or whatever. You get to explore that section too. That's not what a majority of the game is. They also built off the narrative, which is better than the way they did it in Prime 3. It's this game still feels like a Metroid game, just not like a standard Metroid game. They have to innovate. Would you rather want the same old, or would you rather want them to try something new? Like, I don't understand. You see, here's the thing, like, with this whole, like, grift thing that a lot of content creators do, that a lot of, like, people try to cash in on, is the fact that, like, it's all about being negative. It's not actually meant to give any legitimate criticisms to things. All it really is just finding a bad thing to say about a game and just harping on that point because it makes you money and it gives you engagement. That's it. That's literally all of what people have been doing on Twitter. It's not productive. It's not honest. It's just, like, people that don't want to actually give any legitimate criticisms to things. They just want to, like, say that a video game is bad and they want to grift off of it. And apparently you think it's woke, and we're 5 minutes into your video, and you have not given a single argument as to why it's woke yet.
Metroid game? You know, I thought devs would have learned their lesson about this. I mean, everybody, like, Wind Waker came out more than 20 years ago, and everybody hated that shit then. And people still don't like it now. I mean, I don't like Wind Waker HD. I think it completely destroys the original's art direction. But I would say it's, you know, probably worth playing over the original just because, you know, of the quality of life stuff. You know, the sailing is so much faster in HD. You get what I mean? But even then, though, it's just crazy. And like I said, this is a freaking Metroid game.
But you don't know what an actual Metroid game is because you said you're not a Metroid fan. You don't actually engage with the Metroid franchise, so... If you're not actually a real Metroid fan, how would you know what an actual Metroid game looks like?
Like, okay, if they had put some banging music in it, yeah, and there isn't even any music, apparently. I don't know why devs insist on having semi-open world sections.
Oh, yeah, hold on, I'm gonna actually, like, verify this information. Didn't, like, they say that the music is, like, on a paywall or something? I'm gonna actually verify that. Okay, so this is probably going to be, like, the first W point in this, like, non-VTubers video, is that apparently, there is a $30 amiibo purchase that unlocks the ability to play music while driving in the game's desert. That is a massive L. I think that's really stupid. That is actually, like, a legitimate criticism. I feel like every single bit of soundtrack should become optional. If you want to, I feel like it would be better if you already gave the soundtrack to the game, but then if you wanted bonus soundtrack that you could change during each section, then you could lock that behind a paywall. I think that would be more understandable, but the fact that the music has to be played on the paywall or else you don't get any music at all, that's shitty. Okay, I think that's a legitimate criticism, so this does bode well for his argument a little bit, I guess. Wow, that's like the first good point that he's brought up in his video.
Yeah, so let's see this desert in action. So you don't even get any music. Alright. And you literally just drive through a big open empty desert and like
this section's empty, but there is other stuff to do in other parts of the desert, so just this part happens to be empty.
It's even the point. I find this, yeah, like this is what they thought would be like a great improvement to the Metroid series, and this whole thing is not
Well, this is how you travel to all the other areas, like Volt Forge and the Ice Belt and all the other areas. Like, this is how you get to those areas. If you have a map on you, you can mark where you need to go specifically and just go directly to there, and you won't get there in very long.
just one area.
Again, I feel like people really exaggerate how bad this is. It's really not that bad. If you want to explore the other, like, landmarks in this desert, you can do that. That's cool for the 100% players that like to do that. But you don't have to do that. If you're not a 100% player and you don't like driving through the desert, you can choose not to do that. And it won't take you very long to get from point A to point B.
Or something. You have to go into this place. You have to spend several hours in this shitty desert.
No, you don't! What the fuck are you talking about? No, you don't! You can get from point A to point B so easily. That's not even where a majority of the game takes place in. Oh my god, you can tell this guy's never played a Metroid game in his life.
And then collecting all these crystals because you need them to beat the game for some reason.
This guy is like pretending like he knows what he's talking about.
But yeah, though. Man, actually, I found this one meme somewhere here. There was a game which actually did this whole shit better. Alright? Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise.
I don't even know what the fuck this game is.
Alright. Look, and I'm not going to say Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise is very...
It looks like the same thing. It looks like a barren desert. Like, I don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Like, I don't even know what you expect. This is like a clip that you're citing, but like you're showing basically the same thing that you showed us from the previous clip. So I don't understand how this proves your point.
Very good. But I mean, it had the same shit, funnily enough, where you drive through a stupid desert. And even then it had problems. Like, this kind of thing where you just go through a big open empty space just is not fun. And like,
you don't have to do that in Metroid Prime 4 though. It's a lot of the areas can be optional.
You can do stuff to make it more interesting. Like, I actually kind of like the traversal, the exploring the world in Nier Automata. But look,
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
even in Nier Automata, one of the reasons why it's actually fun in Nier Automata to kind of run through the desert is because the music's so good. But anyways, though, I don't have this in any... Oh yeah, this is an
scenario that happens in the game. Not only does it...
Yeah, this is the extended Lord Frogmire clip.
Like, you can tackle any of these three...
I guess I'll talk more about the character. So the other issue is the characters, alright? Because, you know, another thing Metroid is known for is, you know, the atmosphere, the feelings of isolation. So Nintendo's like, how could we improve the formula? Oh, I got it. Let's add in a bunch of annoying Marvel movie-ass characters. And the guy who's getting all the heat is this Miles McKenzie.
I don't think he was that bad, personally. I mean, like, he's not even in the game for that long. Like, he's your companion for a little bit in the beginning, but then he goes to base camp, and then he communicates with you for a little bit. I don't think he's that bad. He adds, like, a bit of a narrative thing. It basically does what Metroid Prime 3 does and builds off of it in, like, a better way, I would say. Prime 3's narrative was still pretty solid, though, even for 2007 standards.
Alright. Do I have a clip of him? I don't even think I have a clip of him.
Incredible, dude.
Honestly, you don't even need a clip of this guy, okay? Honestly, I'm doing you guys a mercy. But he's basically...
He's really not that bad. Like, he just gives you some dialogue in the game, and it's just like, it's really not that deep.
He's basically just like a Redditor that they put in this game.
Not really. I mean, he's just like a guy that communicates with you. Like, he's not really that much of a fighter, but he's more of like the tech guy that communicates with you occasionally. But he's not even in the game for a majority of it anyways. Like, you could still have moments where you're in solitude and you're exploring like a Metroid game. It doesn't take away, it doesn't break the immersion of it whatsoever. It builds off of what Prime 3 was.
And the thing is that he's not even just in it for a little bit. He's apparently in it the whole game because...
No, he's not. Again, you haven't played the game, so you wouldn't know that.
He'll constantly be freaking talking to you via the radio, because of course, so... And here you can see the evolution of the disc...
He's not in the game for the entirety of it.
Of course, because you have all these Nintendo shills who are defending it. They're like, oh, he's just in the tutorial. He's just in the first stage. Okay, he's in the whole game, but he gets less annoying. Okay, he's constantly annoying, but the other companions won't be. Okay, all the companions are annoying, but that actually makes them endearing.
No, he's actually not in the game for a majority of it either. Like, he's part of the game, but he's not, like, in it for most of it, actually. You still get an opportunity to play a Metroid game. It's, like, really not that immersion-breaking, but okay. Just, like, taking a random 4chan post and, like, taking that as fact, I guess.
So, yeah, to Metroid, they've added in a bunch of super annoying characters.
No. They're not really that bad. I mean, you don't necessarily have to like them, but, like, I personally never found them that bad. You know, I think they make sense for the narrative, if anything, and they don't break the immersion. It's not like they follow you for the entire game. Then you would have more of a reason to complain, but they don't. They don't do that. It's just you guys pearl clutching because you want something to complain about for your Twitter blue engagement.
Here we go. Let's look at this scene.
Sarge!
Armstrong, you all right?
I'm good. You?
Yes.
While I was waiting, I was studying this hologram. Wow. Samus? It's really you. I don't even know what to say. Is this a new suit?
Oh my god.
It's amazing. I love it. I love it so
Private.
much. Yes, sir.
You should be allowed to sue Nintendo for producing this amount of cringe.
What would you sue them for? Okay. I mean, you could say that the dialogue might be a little bit cringy, maybe. But, I mean, it makes sense from, like, a story standpoint that Samus would be famous at this point. Like, if you look at the Metroid timeline, right? You have the first Metroid game, which got the remake of Zero Mission. And then you have Metroid Prime, Prime Hunters, Prime 2, and Prime 3. So we've had several Metroid games where Samus has, like, saved the world multiple times at this point. So, like, it would make sense from, like, the Galactic Federation standpoint that she's famous and that she would have, like, a fan, like, at this point in the timeline. Especially considering that they're kind of doing a little bit of a meta play and they're kind of playing on the audience, us, that we're being fans. It's like this, like, weird cognitive dissonance. You guys act like in-universe this makes no sense, but then suddenly, like, it's totally fine when, like, people in the real world do it. Like, it's just, like, the weird cognitive dissonance. Like, they're kind of playing on that meta part of it, too. But, okay. I'll take the word of somebody who claims to not be a Metroid fan, even though he claims to know what he's talking about, I guess.
This is so bad, man, okay? Look, I know Samus is like a living legend in the Metroid universe. But, I mean, come on. Have some tact, you know?
How would you do the scene better?
That's the whole thing. This is just so cringe.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's your opinion. I mean, it was probably... I guess they probably could have done it a little better and made it less cringe, but it's not... Like, I don't think it's that deep.
Oh, my God. Metroid Prime 4, if it had good dialogue, I just move shit with my freaking mind, haha.
Isn't the whole point, like, a lot of people were fucking complaining when Metroid Other M came out, and rightfully so, when Samus talked too much and had emotion, and was completely unlike what her character was. Like, they fucked up the story in Other M. And to be fair, Other M was a shit game. Like, Other M was not a good Metroid game whatsoever, and so I do agree with that criticism. But then... I guess now you're saying if it had good dialogue, you would make Samus talk? I don't understand. It's like you guys want something to complain about. It's not like this is not about actually like wanting to have a good Metroid game. You guys just are farming for engagement. You guys are grifting. That's literally it. You guys are just saying things.
You know, the one saving grace this game has is that Samus apparently doesn't talk.
Yeah, I think that was good. I mean, she just nods in response to the characters. It's a lot more fitting. They basically took the criticism that they got from Other M, and they're like, okay, how could Samus interact with the world better, and how could Samus interact with characters better?
And it's actually really funny. Because it's like, where's the meme? Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 cutscene. Oh my god, my Hecorino, is that really you, Samus? I don't even know what to say right now. Is that a new suit? Like one of those Japanese video games, you know? You get it? Video games? Oh wow, it's amazing. I love it.
It's not even what she said in the original clip, but okay.
It's slay. And then Samus the whole time is literally just this. Because Samus never even says anything in any of the cutscenes. It's so...
I mean, that is a good way to handle Samus's character. So we agree then, right? Even though you're not a Metroid fan, we agree on that. We agree that it's fitting for Samus's character for her to respond the way that she does to these characters.
Funny. Shit, though. But yeah, though. Oh, but apparently we see Samus at the end, though. And, you know, she looks fine. I don't know. Something about her look here, she seems a little bit uncanny.
How?
I don't know, really.
I mean, she looks different than the way she would in, like, Prime 1 or Prime 2 graphics, or, like, how she would look unmasked compared in, like, the 2D Metroid games, I guess. But, like, obviously, like, we're working with new graphics, and so Samus is obviously going to get a change, too. Like, that just generally makes sense.
But it was. But at least they didn't make her, like, a total uggo. Like, you know, little Lara Croft, like in the Lara Croft show or something. People are doing some comparisons. Prime 4 versus Prince of Persia. Doing some
So, by the way, they downscaled this image. I can tell just by looking at it. Like, the desert and, like, the glow on this bike looks very different. They downscaled the fuck out of this. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you this. Okay, I pulled this image from IGN. You notice how the color scheme here in this desert is very different. It's a lot brighter. You know, you can actually see a lot more. Even the lighting is a little bit better. I know this image is a little bit blurry, so it's hard to tell from, like, I guess a graphic standpoint if it's better. But I think this will be an interesting thing to point out. So this is from IGN's post. Look at this image from this guy on Twitter. Smash JT, look at this. He fucking downscaled the brightness of the image to make it look worse. Oh my fucking god. Bro, this is how you know these people are grifting, is that they have to edit and they have to lie about shit, and they have to fucking lie on Twitter to make money. That is what these guys do. This is why you shouldn't take people on Twitter seriously. This is why you shouldn't take people on Twitter as a fact. This is why you don't use Twitter as a source. Look at this. They're just lying. They're absolutely full of shit, dude.
Comparisons, Prime 4 versus Prince of Persia. I don't know. I don't even think this new Prime game really doesn't even look that good either.
He downscaled the image to make it look worse than it actually was. Unless he's playing on, like, Nintendo Switch 1, then that would explain why it doesn't look as good. Because if you're playing on Nintendo Switch 1, obviously the graphics are going to look worse than it is on Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah. Yeah, sitting on the bike in the desert alone for 2 to 3 hours.
You're not really sitting on the bike for 2 to 3 hours. Like, you can just mark where you want to go and go from point A to point B very easily.
Shit. And then, you know, you look into who's made this game. Okay, my god, man. I don't care about subscribing the grok. Let's check out who wrote this cringe into Metroid Prime 4 and ruined the series. Tracy Nicoletti, writer, gamer, cartoon maker, currently on Invincible, and Roland Rascal Prev. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Thomas and Friends. I'm not concerned about males transitioning to females. I'm concerned about Americans transitioning into Nazis. So
Kind of base, not gonna lie. Like, who cares? I mean, people feel like they aren't born in the right body. That's cool. I guess there it is. This is the argument that Metroid's too woke. It's because a fucking person who's left-leaning worked on the game, and therefore it's a woke disaster. Oh no. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Personally, I don't care if a DEI character or a DEI person works on the game as long as the game is good. Then it's fine. Like, if a game is shit, like Dragon Age Veilguard, then you have more of a reason to, I guess, talk about it. That game was so bad that anti-woke people actually seemed reasonable for once, which is actually fucking insane to think about. But, like, if a game is good and it has good storytelling, I don't care if you have a gay or a trans character or whatever. As long as you don't make that their entire personality and you actually give them, like, a cool character, that's cool. Like, that's dope. You know, like, Jesus from The Walking Dead, he was a gay character, but he was badass. Like, being gay was, like, hardly his personality ever. Like, they made him a badass fighter, and they made him very intelligent, and they made him pretty cool. Stuff like that's cool. And same for Dane from The Walking Dead show, where he was, like, Maximus's best friend in the Brotherhood of Steel, where, like, being non-binary, hardly their personality, but they added to Max's backstory in a pretty significant way if you've seen the first season.
Storyteller and gamer with a deep love of film, television, animation. I'm Batgirl. Okay, not exactly the crime-fighting vigilante, but holy shit.
I mean, she's at a convention. What? Why is this, like, a point that, like, Metroid is bad?
Wait, there's no way. Location the TARDIS?
That's Doctor Who reference, by the way. That's Doctor Who's phone booth.
Okay, it's actually, I didn't even look through this. Okay, I'm having a blind reaction to this. I just, had a glance.
I think he definitely saw this. I feel like this reaction you're doing is, super performative. You definitely saw this before.
Oh my god.
It's very, this whole, meltdown that, the woman who worked on it hates that, America is becoming a fascist country, or that, I guess she worked on other stuff, or that she's Batgirl. His reaction to this is very performative. He's not actually, outraged by this.
This is so bad. This is... And just...
How is it bad?
Wait. One of the biggest issues with our society is failing upwards.
Okay. How do you reckon that?
Because in a, actual society, a useless parasite like this would write a shitty game and then never get another job. As she should. She should never work in the industry again. But I get...
Why? Why? You haven't given any reason as to why she shouldn't work in the game. Because she has certain beliefs? It's very crazy. Anti-woke people and, people that are, fucking grifting so hard for the right constantly LARP about the fact that, oh, these left-leaning people hate us because they don't agree with us. They don't agree with our opinion. But then you guys are upset that they have a different viewpoint than you do. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. You're just sitting here and having a crybaby meltdown because she believes that trans people are validated because they feel like they weren't born in the right body.
Guarantee she's gonna be around for whatever the hell comes. She's gonna be... keep around. And this happens at so many levels, you see this with CEOs too. These people who... Because, everybody hates the writing of Metroid Prime 4.
I don't think it's bad. A majority of Metroid fans who aren't rage baiting don't think it's bad. You might see them say that's not as good as some of the previous Prime games. That's fine. That's, probably valid. I tend to agree with that side of it, but they're not saying that the writing is bad. Shut the fuck up. It's just, fucking weird anti-woke grifters that have nothing better to do on Twitter.
The only people defending it are literally the number one, literally the biggest bootlicking Nintendo fanboys you could imagine.
You've never played a Metroid game in your life. You don't even know what a good Metroid game looks like. How are you the arbiter of what a good Metroid game looks like if you've never even played or looked into a Metroid game in your entire life?
And look, we'll see if the game bombs. I mean, it kind of could bomb over this, because...
It might, because a bunch of weird anti-woke grifters are jumping on it and trying to review bomb it.
We'll talk about this a bit more. Let's go over this next one. There are several key millennial female writers for Metroid Prime 4. One of them is a pro-mask and quadruple booster.
What? What do you mean pro-mask? Oh, are you anti-vax? Is that what it is? Quadruple booster pro-mask? I don't know what the fuck he means. What does he mean by quadruple booster? Oh, got it. Okay, so quadruple booster is a pejorative term used in the X-Post by manga lawyer to describe that a contract writer that credited on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond shows that they've received 4 COVID-19 booster shots, portraying them as excessively compliant with public health mandates during the pandemic. Okay, gotcha. So we're pretending that there's an issue here. Okay, cool. Okay. I got it now. That makes sense.
She's often seen wearing an LGBT t-shirt and supports DEI and
Good. We love LGBTQ people. They don't infringe on any of our rights. They're a marginalized group. I mean, they are just normal people in society. Good. She's allowed to show support for that.
The writer who left Retro Studios but is still in the credits has claimed that Samus is trans.
Where did they claim that Samus was trans? Where did they claim that Samus was trans? What the fuck are you talking about? Is that even true? I don't even believe that. I don't think they claim that Samus is trans at all. Now, I think there is a legitimate... I will say one thing. To give, the charity that you guys don't deserve. I will say one thing. I do think there is a conversation to have about retroactively adding characters into LGBTQ categories when they've already been pre-existed one way. I think they did that for Master Chief, where they decided to make Master Chief gay retroactively when the Halo franchise has been out forever. And I think that's wrong. And the reason why I think that's wrong is because it comes across like you're pandering to an audience. It comes across like you're pandering and you're virtue signaling. That's the problem I have with it. It feels inauthentic to do something like that. It's not the fact that the character is gay themselves. It's the fact that you're doing it because you're trying to appeal to an audience that's like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like you actually care about, like, adding them into the game. I feel like if you want to add a character that's like DEI or LGBT, you got to do it from the get-go, or at least plan their reveal to it from, like, in the game, like within the first game somehow, right? Like, if you retroactively make them gay or whatever, that kind of feels like a slap in the face. And I don't think you're doing LGBT or DEI people an actual service when you do stuff like that. I think there's a legitimate conversation from that. And if that was the actual legitimate conversation this person was trying to start, I would actually be open to that. I would be like, okay, I think that's actually reasonable, but that's not what he's doing. DEI bad, and we're pretending that the COVID vaccines are a problem, I guess, because I guess we're weirdly, like, anti-vax or whatever. I guess this person really likes RFK Jr. or something.
You wonder why the writing for this game is so god-awful. It's because people like this are writing it.
What about her writing is so bad? What about her makes the writing bad? Do you want to say it, or are you too scared to say it in this video?
Why is the writing cringe? It's because cringe lords are writing it.
Why? What makes her cringe?
It's as simple as that.
See, this guy is not going to say why she's cringe because he's too much of a pussy. He's too much of a coward. He's going to say it here, but, like, he's just going to be like, it's too cringe, it's too bad, or whatever. Ha ha ha. But he's actually not going to, like, spell it out for you because he's too much of a pussy to actually, like, spell it out.
Shit, though. But, you know, we'll see how this does for the game. I mean, look, one of the problems... Look, and, you know, there's a conspiracy theory that I heard. This was Lord Frogmire said this in his video. Let's go over here.
Yeah, the other anti-woke weirdo that made a fucking weird piece about this because he's an anti-woke grifter. Yeah, I know. I get it.
So,
we know you want to suck his dick so badly. We get it.
Metroid Prime 4. Here it is. So, originally this was being developed by Bandai Namco. But that version of the game was canceled in 2019 because Nintendo was unhappy with the progress.
Yeah, and I think, to my knowledge, the reason why they originally canceled it was because it wasn't really amounting to an actual Metroid Prime experience, and they weren't happy with it, so they scrapped it. And I think that makes sense. They want to actually make a Metroid Prime game that's worthy of a title to be in the Metroid Prime series. And I think, honestly, that was a good decision because this iteration of Metroid Prime 4 is good, and I'm happy with it, and I think it's a worthy title to be part of the Metroid Prime series. You know, again, you could... maybe criticize it for a couple things, like some gameplay aspects of it. If you really don't like the desert aspect, I guess fine. I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. But I guess that is your taste, but it just feels like you don't actually care about that. It doesn't seem like you're actually interested in criticizing it for that. You just want to cash into, like, the anti-woke sphere online because it's very lucrative to do that.
And then
Retro Studios wound up developing it because they've developed all the other previous 3 Prime games.
One was made by Retro Studios. So
who made the other 3 Metroid Prime games?
Conspiracy theory is that originally this game, the original Bandai Namco version of Prime 4, was actually a pretty solid Metroid Prime game.
No, it wasn't. That's why they scrapped it to begin with, because it wasn't fitting enough to be a Prime title to begin with. You literally just said that earlier. You just said that. They scrapped it because it was unhappy. What you just read to us completely contradicts what you just said here.
But Nintendo cut it. Nintendo canceled that and then demanded that Retro Studios make something that's more accessible to normies and more like Breath of the Wild.
No, more like what it was to the previous Prime games. That's not what they said at all. They didn't say they wanted it to be more like Breath of the Wild. That's not at all what they said. Get the fuck out of here. Just, like, bullshitting us in the middle of the video, pretending like he knows what he's talking about. I don't even know why I'm, like, taking this guy seriously. Like, you shouldn't take this guy seriously. He's never played a fucking Metroid game in his life. He thinks he knows what makes a good Metroid game.
Which is basically what this Metroid Prime, which is basically what Beyond is. And the problem with that is that, you know, by trying to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. Because, I mean, you know...
They weren't trying to please everybody.
Normies, you know, I'm sure a normie...
They just wanted to make a good Metroid Prime game that was fitting enough to be in the Metroid Prime series. That was literally it.
Could play this and have a decent enough time. But, I mean, how many normies are really going to jump onto, you know, Metroid? Metroid isn't really the most accessible game franchise, and that's kind of by design.
That's not true. You can jump into Metroid and enjoy it. It's a bit of a learning curve for some people, maybe, but it's not, like, inaccessible to people.
You know, and I think it's kind of good that way. But, you know, worse off...
How would you know? You've never played it.
This ends up alienating all the core fans. All the core Metroid fans are...
You've never played a Metroid game. You're not into the Metroid, like, universe whatsoever. What the fuck would you know a core fan would like?
Burned pretty badly by this, you know? You know, it'd be one thing if it was, like, an acceptable Metroid Prime game. And, you know, from what I hear, if you ignore, you know, the god-awful characters and the millennial writing...
It's really not that bad, but okay.
And the shitty hub, you know, desert hub world. Apparently,
oh my god, this guy is just so, like, this is so disingenuous. You could tell that this guy desperately wanted to make a video so badly and seem like a cool guy to all the other anti-woke grifters, but not even the anti-woke grifters notices who the fuck this guy is. They don't care about this guy whatsoever.
You know, it's fine if you ignore all that. But, you know, at that point, it's like, you know... It's like, oh, ignore like a third of the game, and actually the rest is pretty good. You know, the rest is alright if you ignore a third of the game. I mean, it's kind of hard, you know what I mean? So, I mean, we'll see where this goes. I mean, I don't know if we have any sales information yet. I mean, I doubt it. I mean, maybe it'll sell good. I mean, this game was in development for years, so I imagine the budget was probably pretty rough. Or, you know, probably pretty high. I don't know. What else do we got? This was funny. Why are we not supposed to judge retro games by our modern standards? Because that would be unfair to modern games. Man, that's good. And then...
Got him, I guess. Reading random 4chan posts.
Keep in mind, by the way, if you're buying this game for the Switch 2, that shit's $70 frickin' dollars. My god. Oh yeah, and also there's amiibos for $30. $40 for the fancy one. And apparently one thing that people were talking about is that you have to unlock... Apparently that you can get music in the Desert Hub world, but you have to unlock it with amiibos, but some...
Yeah, it's shitty. That's like the one thing I would say that's like very shitty. That's like the only good point that this guy made in his video is that the fucking... You have to pay $30 to unlock music in the desert. I would say that's like really it.
People are saying that you can just unlock it normally. You just can get it earlier with amiibo, so I don't know what's up with that, but... Anyways, though, it's pretty rough, though. But yeah, here's an example.
Sure thing. The non-Metroid fan, non-VTuber is saying that it's pretty rough, that what Metroid Prime 4 is. So true, King.
I haven't been looking at too many of these hardcore Nintendo shills, but here is one. Alright, and by the way, this meme has way too much text than it should have, okay? The leftist meme thing is totally real.
Not really. It's just, okay. Alright, whatever. I'm not even going to engage with this. This is so stupid.
How they just completely...
This is like such a pearl clutch. This guy is obviously like Twitter brain rotted, and he's obviously like a conservative cum guzzler that's like fucking scrolls through Twitter and like it thinks that like white supremacists are based or whatever. This guy's very clearly like Twitter brain rotted.
Overload it with text. But it's like, new genuinely good game is announced, hype is going well, the smallest, most inconsequential things are revealed about the game, journalist reviews come out, some or most purposely say bad things about it, the most evil and vile people on the internet come crawling out of the woodwork and purposely kill all hype for the game. Holy shit, man. This
seems real, I guess.
So rough. I find it crazy announcing this in Metroid Prime 4 because the whole thing is that these are legitimate issues to have with the game. I mean, wasting 3 hours in a shitty desert.
You've never played the game. You don't know that.
Is kind of...
You can get from point A to point B very quickly if you just like play the game very linearly. But if you want to explore and do the extra stuff, you can do that. You can take the time to do that.
A major issue.
That's what the whole point of a Metroid game is, but again, I wouldn't expect you to know that because you've never played a Metroid game in your life.
No, not having a truly interconnected open world, well, not open world, but not having an
It is interconnected. What are you fucking talking about?
Connected world in a Metroidvania is kind of a major issue.
Yes, it is. It is absolutely interconnected. You just have to get from different points using the bike, but then you can also explore all the different paths when you get to each point of interest.
You know, having a lot of linearity in a Metroidvania is kind of an issue. You know, having a bunch of annoying side characters in a Metroid game is kind of an issue. You know?
Not really. Like, we've had dialogue in Metroid games before. Like, just to be clear, Metroid Prime 3 has had it. Metroid Fusion back in 2002, 2004, somewhere around that time. Like, we've had, like, characters speak to Samus before, and it has... Like, Metroid Fusion is, like, my favorite 2D Metroid game, personally. Like, I know a lot of people love Metroid Dread. I thought it was good. I don't think it was, like... I don't know. It's not my personal favorite, but I thought it was good. I prefer Metroid Fusion. I thought the vibes to Metroid Fusion were better. But yeah, no, like, we've had characters speak to Samus before. This is not immersion breaking at all.
Know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
And also, this is kind of funny. Journalist reviews come out summer, most purposely say bad things about it. Gaming journalists are the biggest shills out there.
Then by your own logic, the reviews for Metroid Prime 4 that you showed us at the beginning of this video are invalid. By your own logic there.
Alright, they'll give, like, total dog shit games that aren't even worth playing, like, a 7 or 8 out of 10. Alright? And that's just by design. People have talked about the journalist shill thing before. Basically, if you're a game journalist or you're an online reviewer or whatever, you know, if you start giving games bad reviews, then you're going to end up losing certain privileges. Because game reviewers, they'll get invited to special events, they'll get merch, you know, they'll get free merch, you know, they'll get early review codes. You know, if you don't, you know, if you start biting the hand that feeds you, so to speak, then you'll start losing that. So,
whoa, Nine Inch Nails song, got him.
Look, if a game journalist says a game is shit, then the game is really shit. And look, if
the game journalists didn't even say it was shit. They just ranked it lower than the other Prime games. They still said it was good. They ranked it as an 80. But okay.
Viewers are saying Metroid Prime 4 is kind of mid, then it actually is kind of mid.
No, it's at the 80. That's pretty good according to basic reviews. I don't know if you know what a basic review actually looks like, but okay.
But anyways, though, so we'll see what the effect is. I guess we'll just end it on Wikipedia. Oh yeah, it's that time of year again. Wikipedia's panhandling. But, man, though. Still, though, it's a bit unfortunate. I gotta say, the Switch 2 has just been a complete disaster. And this isn't a Switch 2 game. It's a, you know, multi-platform release. But, I mean, look at what we've actually gotten. You know, confirmed Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive, Mario Kart World, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Dragon Drive, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, Kirby Air Riders, and the Duskblood. So, as far as good games that we've actually gotten, it's been like half a year, and we've only gotten Donkey Kong Bonanza and Kirby Air Riders, and literally that is it. Because everyone hated Mario Kart World, too. But anyways, though, like I said, I'm not a Metroid fan, so I don't really care.
Yeah, so everything you just said, all the criticisms you gave here, pretending like you knew what makes a good Metroid game is completely invalid. Thanks for letting us know. Appreciate it, dude.
Care that much about this. I do think it's interesting, though, and it is unfortunate. Nintendo really is, you know, kind of collapsing. You know, like...
I don't think so. Nintendo's doing just fine.
Yeah.
I feel like, if anything, Nintendo should expand to, like, PC gamers. I know that might sound very weird and unlike Nintendo, but, like, if they want to, like, really tap into that market, I feel like they could if they wanted to make extra money. But I guess they, like, the part of the Nintendo art is to specifically go with exclusive Switch consoles and all that stuff. I guess that's part of it. So, I guess I kind of get it, but I don't know. I just feel bad not being able to play some of their games because I'm more of a PC gamer.
So, it is unfortunate to see. Yeah, I'll say this, I'm definitely not buying a Nintendo Switch 2 anytime soon. Alright?
Good, no one's forcing you to.
Nintendo's really gonna have to start throwing out the heavy hitters if they want me to frickin' pony up for a Switch 2.
Why would they ever want to appeal to people like you that's just, like, wants to grift to make, like, a fucking quick buck online, and that's, like, somebody who's, like, Twitter-broaded anyways.
And I wonder if the Switch 2 is even selling that well at this point. Who even frickin' knows, but... Man, though, that's about it for me, though. Thank you guys for watching. Comment down below your thoughts. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more content in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.
That was fucking dog shit.